Okay, well, welcome everybody to our weekly healthcare support conference. This meeting is sponsored by the Healthcare Support Association of America. I try to make sure that everyone understands that this is a Healthcare Support Association of America sponsored meeting. And the purpose of this, the association, my wife and I formed this meeting. It started out as a Cellular Health Foundation some years ago because we found out that the United States government allows for freedom of private association. The United States Constitution allows for that. So that means that people who are part of the same association can freely exchange ideas. And with that exchange of ideas, we can make suggestions and recommendations to one another without having to be accused of having some sort of doctor-patient relationship. I'm not a medical doctor, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that. And as you're making decisions about your health and well-being, we highly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. But the information that we provide here has been researched. We'd be happy to share with you any of the sources of the information. A lot of times we put the references up to try to make that easy for you to be able to retrace the steps if you'd like, but we'd be happy to share with you anything that we have so that you can take it into consideration as you're trying to make decisions about your own health and well-being. By law, no one is allowed to make a claim that any nutritional supplement is a treatment or cure for any disease state. So that is reserved by the government, and the FDA can decide whether something is an effective treatment or cure. But there is no law against passing on public information. So that's what we try to do with this meeting. And another reason for this is because many medical doctors wish that their patients were more actively mentally and emotionally involved in their own health and well-being. They would prefer that their patients took a mental step forward in being responsible for what happens to them. They would prefer that, as opposed to coming to the doctor and expecting the doctor to be the end-all, cure-all for their condition. So we're trying to step into that role and allow folks to be able to have options, because there's nothing more hopeless and helpless than the feeling of not having an option, and especially an option presented by the medical community. My mother-in-law has been suffering with many health problems over the years, and I still recall the day that she and my sister-in-law were at the doctor. My mother-in-law is describing these problems she's having, and the doctor finally admitted that the medication that she had prescribed to my mother-in-law gave her the diabetes that she was suffering with. And my mother-in-law could not believe it. She was just stymied. She said, "Why didn't you tell me it could possibly cause me diabetes? Why didn't you tell me this?" She was so upset with her. And then she said, "Well, what can I do about my problems here?" She says, "Well, there's no cure for your problem." It was she has IBS. She's dealing with neuropathy. She's dealing with stenosis and all kinds of other issues. And the doctor said, "Well, there's no treatment for that." She said, well, what am I supposed to do?" She says, well, doesn't your son-in-law have something that would help you? Now, I'm not going to say that I've been trying to tell my mother-in-law and sister-in-law that for a long time, but it was interesting that the doctor says to her, "Doesn't your son-in-law have something that could help you?" Because she was telling her to go to the health food store and find some natural products there. And they said, "Well, what? You're the doctor. Tell us what to get." And they said, "Go talk to your son-in-law." So my mother-in-law's health has gotten a lot better because the doctor recommended that she listen to me and Joanna. Can you believe that? So anyway, she's doing a lot better as a result. But anyway, let's get back on topic. We said we were going to talk a little bit this week about high blood pressure. Now, I have to tell you, as I warned you last week, high blood pressure is extremely complicated. And all the research I've done for the entire week since we said that we were going to have this discussion this week, everything has said the same thing. It's complicated, complicated, complicated. And there are factors involved. There's lifestyle factors involved. There's diet factors involved. There's genetic factors involved. There's medication factors involved. There's so many things that can cause diabetes that is nearly impossible to put your finger on one or two things that can be considered the cause for high blood pressure. But I did find one video that kind of encapsulated a lot of it. So I decided I would just share that with you rather than trying to go through a whole bunch of slides to illustrate the way that high blood pressure behaves and why it kills. Now, as I'm kind of getting this set up, make yourselves aware of this fact. They call high blood pressure the silent killer. And the reason for that is because there are many people with hypertension and high blood pressure that don't even know that they have it. Did you know that 46% of the people in the United States right now suffer with high blood pressure? Now, I'm embarrassed to tell you, I didn't know the statistic was that high until I was forced to start researching this by you people. And I'm saying that in the kindest possible way. So don't take that personal, okay, that I just use the expression you people, because I love every one of you. So, but I was surprised to find out that the statistic was that high, 46%. So do you know what that means? We've been talking about the fact that diabetes is in the 30% category. There's half of the United States population right now, nearly half the United States population that's suffering with hypertension or high blood pressure issues. So this is beyond serious, and it's kind of opened my eyes to a whole nother world of possibilities and reasons why we should be stepping forward and trying to make natural recommendations for people. But anyway, take a look at this video. It's only about 2 minutes long, I think, something like that. So it won't be a long, boring, detailed thing. But there are some details in it that will help understand how micronutrition can have a positive impact on someone's health. And we'll start to discuss that after the video is over with. Okay, so let's see if I can get this to play. If you can't hear it, somebody just break in and yell and scream and holler and dance or blow a whistle or something.
Blood pressure is the force.
Jonathan, you're not through yet.
Can't hear.
Jonathan, is that normal without sound? We can't hear any sound.
Okay. Okay, so that's dancing and screaming. That's good. All right, hang on 1 second. Let's find out why you can't hear a thing. Share sound. Optimize for video clip.
When the heart contracts and pumps blood into the aorta during systole, the aorta in the systemic circulation. When the heart contracts and pumps blood into the aorta during systole, the aortic pressure rises.
Technology can be such a
Pressure
pain.
following an ejection is called the systolic pressure. In between heartbeats, when the ventricles refill, blood pressure falls to the lowest value called the diastolic.
Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to stop the share. Shut down a couple things. Did you hear anything from that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you did start.
Yes, we were starting to hear it.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's shut down all the cameras. Shut down all the cameras. Let's increase the bandwidth, okay?
You muted.
You're muted.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Good.
Good.
Testing, testing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I got this notice here saying that, anyway, but as you can see from that video, blood pressure is fairly complicated, but it narrows down to just a few things: lifestyle, diet, and genetics. So the combination of those factors and the way that they interact one with the other, along with some side effects of medications, can really exacerbate the entire problem. Did you notice that the vascular issue is one of the primary problems, along with the volume of blood? So those two things can create a problem that's very difficult to manage. So let's take a look. I'm going to show you the, get back to our slide presentation and see if we can't look at a couple of reasons why nutrition, proper nutrition, can definitely play a role in improving the way that your body responds or deals with high blood pressure. So let's see here, screen 1, screen 2. It looks like screen 2 right there. Okay. I think you can see the PowerPoint presentation now, right? Healthcare Support Association of America presentation, is that what you see?
Yes.
We see
Okay.
that.
All right, good. So that's just the introductory slide. But one of the first places I like to begin this discussion is, as you can see from this list, and I'm not sure if it was in, yes, I think it was in this presentation. I saw so many videos on this subject, but smoking, alcohol, drugs, lack of exercise, and other factors, including antibiotics, were all factors involved with hypertension and high blood pressure. So in fact, one of the doctors that gave an extensive lecture on the subject mentioned that no matter what a person was trying to do, if they want to try to get their blood pressure issues under control, one of the first things that they should do if they were a smoker is stop smoking. No matter what they had to do, stop that. Reduce the amount of alcohol that was going into the body. Be aware of the side effects of drugs and medication, and recognize that they are indeed factors. And of course, food and diet, extremely important, especially lowering sodium intake. Now, you may have noticed over the years, one of the reasons why food tastes as good as it does is because in this country we use salt, and salt is in everything. MSG is very common. It's also a form of a salt and adds flavor to everything, because no one in this country wants to have anything that doesn't have exploding amounts of flavor. So one of the things that they do is they add salt to everything. And of course, they're putting glucose, mainly high fructose corn syrup, forms of sugar in everything as well. But that high amounts of sodium is also a very serious contributing factor to high blood pressures. Now, what do they all have in common? All of these things have in common is that they're putting a huge load on the body's ability to use and sustain elevated levels of glutathione, because all of those things deplete the body's glutathione levels. Everything that's considered a factor involved in high blood pressure is reducing glutathione levels in the body. So that's one common denominator that they all have at play, or all have in common. Now, what exactly is this glutathione? We've talked about this a lot, but glutathione was discovered back in 1888, and now there's been extensive research done on the subject of glutathione. But the best glutathione, don't go and buy it. It is readily available. You can buy glutathione on eBay or Amazon. But eating, Dr. Jimmy Gutman likes to say, eating glutathione to raise your glutathione is like trying to tell your kid to eat brains to get smarter. It just doesn't work that way. When you eat or ingest glutathione, most of it is destroyed in digestion. So the best way to raise glutathione levels in your cells is to give your cells the building blocks to raise glutathione. And it's 3 amino acids combined together to cause the cells, your own cells, to manufacture their own glutathione: glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. Glutathione is so important that now the United States Library of Medical Publications has more than 156,000 medical and scientific published articles on the subject of glutathione. They've shown glutathione to be connected to an enormous number of different pathologies, not the least of which includes stroke, and heart disease. There's a recent study, actually it's not so recent, it was done within the past decade. It was done at the Gutenberg University in Mainz, Germany. They measured for the first time that just before a heart attack, there's a precipitous drop in glutathione levels. Glutathione levels. And as you can see here, this is the physician's desk reference. There's an article in the PDR, at least this edition of it that I found, that mentioned included stroke on the list of glutathione deficient states. So prior to a person having many of these different conditions, their glutathione levels are low. So before we move forward, understand that glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. Okay, so that's the main thing to keep in mind when it comes to glutathione. It's the body's master antioxidant. Antioxidants are extremely important because antioxidants have the ability to bind to anything that doesn't belong inside the body and remove it out of the body as waste. Okay, so that's the important thing to remember. It's the master antioxidant. Now, there's certain, the body only makes a few endogenous antioxidants. Glutathione is the most important one. We consume through supplementation many exogenous antioxidants, things like vitamin C, vitamin E, pycnogenol, and so on and so on. The list just goes on with all kinds of antioxidants that we consume. But the master antioxidant is glutathione. That's why it's so important. It's the one that can relieve a vitamin C molecule from its duty and allow that vitamin C molecule to go out and find another free radical. You don't want free radicals in your body because free radicals are trying to do damage to your cells. You saw on the diagram in the video that we just showed that in time, what happens to the arteries because of blood pressure? The artery walls begin to deteriorate. Did you notice that? Well, part of that is because of the prevalence of free radicals. Free radicals is damaging cells. And if coronary arteries are being damaged because of free radicals, that weakens coronary arteries. So blood pressure now is in a better position to rupture. And the worst kind of stroke that a person can have is the bleeder. It's one thing to have a portion of your brain starved of blood and oxygen not being able to reach that portion of the brain. That stroke is more survivable. They're all survivable, but that one is a little bit more survivable. But the bleeder, the one where a blood vessel ruptures, anywhere that blood touches, that part of the brain is dead. Just had a friend, I don't know if you saw the diagram, where they showed the burst blood vessel toward the back of the brain, right around where the cerebral cortex is. That's the area of the brain that makes the decisions, the traffic directing part of the brain. Well, if there's a bleeder right there, then the chances of recovery are very slim. It's very low at that point. You don't want to have a stroke, no matter what. But if you had to pick one, you want the one that where the portion of your brain is starved of oxygen, as opposed to a vessel that bursts or ruptures. Part of what contributes to both is low levels of glutathione, high levels of free radicals. Free radicals is doing damage inside your body. They should not be there. Hence the importance of raising glutathione levels. Here's a documentary that was done back some years ago. It was called The Hidden Epidemic. You see, it's February 2007. You can find it. Just you can probably Google it still. I don't know. I may even have still have a full recording copy of this documentary. I'd be happy to share it with you if I do. In fact, I think I have it in my video library on Facebook. Yeah, I think it's broken up into about 6 or 7 different parts. It's an interesting documentary because this is based on the Framingham study that's still ongoing to this day in Framingham, Massachusetts. It's over 100 years old. It's the longest running heart disease research study in the world. So no one has done more research on the heart and heart disease than in Framingham, Massachusetts. That Framingham study is incredible. It's still mind-numbing to me that after 100 years, they haven't figured out how to solve the problem, because heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in this country. Not true. COVID-19 just, I think last week or so, they said COVID-19 exceeded heart disease as the #1 cause of death in the United States. But anyway, that's a different discussion. But the slides you're seeing right now are little snapshots of animations that I took from that documentary, The Hidden Epidemic. So what you're looking at right now is a cross section of a blood vessel. So if you're looking at a blood vessel the long way and could slice it in half and see the blood flowing from left to right, that's what you're looking at right now. Now, in the past, we always thought that the plaque was building up inside the coronary artery, but there's an inner lining and an outer lining of the coronary arteries. That's where the plaque starts to build up, because what happens there is some free radical or toxin gets trapped back there, and that's where the immune system becomes part of the problem, because now it starts sending those white blood cells into that area to try to solve the problem. And in the documentary, the scientists, the researchers said, as the white blood cells were coming to the rescue, they literally cause more inflammation and they get trapped back there between the inner lining and outer lining of the artery wall. The white blood cells are actually causing part of the problem. And then after a period of time, if a micro tear forms, then white blood cells do what white blood cells do when you start to bleed. They form a clot. And as those white blood cells leak through that micro tear, they form a clot. That's a bad thing. If that clot is right before the heart and it breaks off going in the direction of the heart, it can very easily cause a heart attack. But if that clot is somewhere in the brain, not only are you dealing with high blood pressure, as we saw illustrated in the video I showed at the very beginning, because of this thickening of the artery walls, but this clot now can also lead to a stroke. So you see that the immune system and immune system dysfunction are contributing factors to high blood pressure. So in fact, during the documentary, the scientists, the researchers said that they noticed that once there was a blocked artery in one portion of the heart, that the disease was everywhere. And what they were calling disease is the very thing that we were just looking at there, this buildup of plaque between the inner lining and outer lining of the artery wall that could cause this exact diagram or function response that we're seeing right now, where a clot could easily form and it could go anywhere. You know, it's a roll of a dice as to where it could be heading. I remember a young lady, she's a maybe one of the nurses knows it, radiology technician, where she uses equipment that shows what's going on inside the heart. And one day as she's looking at a patient, she's doing the entire procedure, she sees it on the screen, this clot that's kind of just flapping in the breeze there. And she turns around to tell the doctor that there's a clot here. And she looks back around and to show it to the doctor, she said, well, it was there just a moment ago. And at that moment, the patient collapsed dead, because that's led to a heart attack that this patient could not recover from. So she saw it take place live. And she says she's been suffering with a form of PTSD ever since, because it really just traumatized her. when she saw the moment between life and death for one of her patients, and it was this very thing that we're looking at right here. So it's a very sad thing. So here we are now, we're talking about, again, high blood pressure. What's the impact of micronutrition on high blood pressure? Everything we just saw is made better when micronutrients is placed inside the body. And I'm not the one that whose word you need to take for that. Dr. Kedar Prasad has done the research and has proved that micronutrients helps with heart health. Okay, that's all we can say about it. We cannot say that micronutrients will treat or cure high blood pressure or any other disease. But Dr. Prasad has done the research. He's published more than 250 articles. He's authored more than 31 books. He's the world's first radiation biologist, PhD, in the world. He was a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. He was the one who nominated Dr. Linus Pauling for the Nobel Peace Prize. In his relationship with the United States government, Dr. Prasad was awarded, his formula was awarded 7 different patents. And if you look very carefully, you'll see that 2 of them, look on the right side as it's describing the function of these different patents. Get down to the 5th and the 6th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, micronutrient for pulmonary and heart health. Both of those have scientific research showing how micronutrients help ameliorate heart issues. The one that was done there in connection with the Metro Fire Department, you see the purpose of the patent? Improvement in lipid status and regression of carotid artery thickness. So you're talking about a formula that can have a direct effect on the thickening of arteries. And we saw in the movie at the very beginning, that little video at the very beginning, that that's one of the factors involved in high blood pressure, is a thickening of carotid arteries, coronary arteries, any type of artery. That thickening becomes a problem when it comes to high blood pressure. This micronutrient formula has the ability to improve that. So maybe in part 2 of our discussion on this, we'll dissect that patent and break out the portions of the patent where the research was done showing exactly how the micronutrient has an impact on the thickening of the arteries. But suffice it to say, just in a little nutshell so far, we can see that this particular micronutrient can have a huge impact on the way the body responds and the way that the immune system has an impact on the factors that can contribute to high blood pressure. We've actually had many individuals who've indicated that they have had improvement in their health, including their problems with high blood pressure. I remember an older woman. It's been a friend of our families for decades. In fact, I remember as a little boy, 5 or 6 years old, meeting this woman. So she's she would be, if my mother was still alive, she was older than my mother, but she became like my surrogate mom, and she was dealing with high blood pressure, and she was describing to me how nothing that the doctors was giving her was helping her, and she was suffering so bad from it because she was getting these headaches, and it was causing her to become so fatigued, and she was so worried about what the high blood pressure was going to do. So I suggested that she try some of the Micro Daily. I just gave her a bag of the Micro Daily, the Hydro. I thought maybe she would like that if she could just drink it nice and easy. And I saved the text messages because she sent me a text message just a few days later. She was so out of her mind with disbelief that her blood pressures had gone down 20 or 30 points because they was in the 180 range. It really was a dangerous high blood pressure. She said she had not seen blood pressures that low in many years. How she was still alive is still beyond me, but she was just blown away by it. She was so happy that she was finally seeing some improvement in her blood pressure. Do you know 2 weeks later when she took that the product to her doctor told her that it was interfering with the medication and ordered her to stop taking it. And so her blood pressures have returned right back to the high levels that they were. So unfortunately, as we've discussed many times, you can lead a horse to water, you can even kick him in, but that doesn't mean he's going to drink any of it. But that's just to give you one example of an individual that I know personally that benefited from adding a micronutrient to their diet, specifically in connection with high blood pressure. And there may be some of you that have had some results like that as well. So we'll hear your stories in just a moment. But these are two of the formulas that Dr. Prasad has put together. The one on the left with CoQ10, it's the original formula that was originally developed for the military. Military micronutrient formula is what it was called. And if you look at the ingredients, it doesn't look very complicated, but understand something, that's the result of 40 years of research. And the specific formula that we're looking at in that specific combination and the sources of each of those vitamins and nutrients is significant and plays a role in the reason why this particular product works so incredibly well. And Dr. Prasad didn't rest on his laurels. He went on to formulate even more formulas, including the EMF, which is designed to further help the body to not be negatively impacted by the onslaught of radiation that we're all being bombarded with today, because every one of us is now walking around with a little radiation factory in our pocket. We're being exposed to it. We're looking at it all day on our computers. Just to illustrate how serious it has become is for years, leukemia was the #1 form of cancer in children. But just a few years ago, it's changed to glioblastoma. And they're still trying to figure out exactly why, but my personal opinion is because children now are, even infants now know how to use tablets and cell phones. That's one of their latest toys is electronic devices. And so now glioblastoma or brain cancer has now become the #1 form of cancer in children. So Dr. Prasad added some additional ingredients to the EMF formula to help ameliorate the impact of all of those, the high levels of radiation that we're all being exposed to. So these are just two of the best formulas that this company has made available. My all-time favorite, though, is the Micro Daily Plus. It's the one with CBD. So that's the one. I take 3 of those capsules every single night. I take these during the day. Just recently, I introduced the EMF back into my diet. I'll take 2 of the green, 2 of the CoQ10 formula, and 1 of the EMF formula. So I'll have 3 during the day, early during the day, and then I'll have 3 just before I go to bed at night. And that seems to work the best for me. How do you know how much to take, under what circumstance? Let's put it to you this way. For years, the military only had the green formula. So everything that we've just said is very powerful, and the one on the left has worked for years. And that's the one that all the patents were awarded. That's the original formula, microdaily with CoQ10. So you can't go wrong with anyone with that one. The EMF formula is just simply better. It has stepped it up so that the formula just now has more components to help the body to deal with free radicals and toxins. How do you get the product? Just go back to the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll help you set up your own subscription. You want to become, at the very least, a preferred customer, and then you enjoy the same discount that we enjoy as health advocates. The product you see on the left there, that's the Hydro, 1 packet of Hydro. It comes with 120 pouches, I think, inside the bag, if my number's correct. Yeah, I believe so. No, it's a month supply, 2 per day, so that's 60 packets. So put 1 packet inside a bottle of water like this, shake it up, and just drink it down with your meals. And you get the same benefits as the microdaily taking 2 capsules twice a day. As we get a little older, I'm 58 now, so that's the reason why I'm taking 3 capsules twice a day. I don't have any health issues to speak of, except that I did notice when I stopped taking microdaily for a week or so, my left knee started hurting. So I learned my lesson quickly there. Don't stop taking the product. So as soon as I went back on it again, that left knee pain completely gone. So I'm happy with that. But as we get a little older, we need a little bit more supplementation. So that's why I take 3 twice a day. If you're under 50, you could probably get away with just taking 2 capsules twice a day and you'll be fine. And once you get past 65 or so, then you might want to consider taking even more. I think it was last week that one of our seniors said that she takes 3 capsules 3 times a day, and that helps her to break even and not have any particular problems. So that's the basic rule of thumb. But the additional thing that you want to add to that is make sure that you drink plenty of water. Because your body is grabbing toxins and getting rid of them. You have to give those toxins some place to go. And water is the quickest, best path out of the body. So the correct amount of water is half your body weight in ounces. So a person who weighs 150 pounds should be drinking 75 ounces of water per day, if at all possible. So that's the correct amount of water to drink. Half the body weight in ounces. So whatever that number is, cut it in half. That's how many ounces that you should be drinking per day to properly get rid of toxins, because you will detox when taking microdaily. And here recently, we've been recommending that you add ImmuneRx. This is a product not produced by Engage Global. The products I was just talking about were all produced by Engage Global. This product is produced by Amerix Bioscience Corporation. The website is amerixbio.com. But it helps the immune system become smarter. It's a tremendously powerful complement for microdaily. So I've seen the 2 of these added together, and I call them the COVID buster. That's just my particular nickname for that combination. Either one of them by themselves has been phenomenal when it comes to any kind of virus, but together it's an unbeatable combination. Okay, so that's the core of the presentation for today. Next week, we will go into part B of our discussion on high hypertension and high blood pressure. And maybe we can kind of delve into a little bit more as to how it is that Dr. Prasad's formula, which has been awarded a patent specifically in connection with heart health, could have an impact on high blood pressure. Okay, so let's pause here for a couple of minutes, and we'd like to hear your personal stories and maybe even respond to some of your questions, any questions that you may have. This is your opportunity. No such thing as a stupid question, folks. The only stupid question is the unasked question. So nothing's off limits. We have about 5 more minutes here before, no, we have 9 more minutes now before we reach the, our,
You want me to tell him? Yeah. Hey, John.
Don Hines, you unmuted first. So go ahead, Don, and then we'll go to the question.
Go ahead, Joe.
I want to ask a question about dementia. Now, my wife.
Not quite hearing Joe. Joe's asking a question, not quite hearing it.
Okay, you got to put this thing on.
Okay.
That's better.
I'd like to ask a question about dementia. My wife, she has dementia. She's about middle way through the disease.
Yeah.
What would be a safe number of brain medications can she take?
Well, I would recommend that she take at least 1 a day of the brain boost. 2 won't hurt. But we have actually seen that the micro daily by itself has had an incredible effect on slowing the progression of dementia. And in some cases, persons have actually started to regain some of their brain function. We had one woman who was having a hard time, didn't know what the refrigerator was. And after a while, just on micro daily, she was going to the refrigerator and making herself some food and selecting the items that she wanted. And this was a woman who was severely demented. She started having conversations with her family again, and that was just on micro daily before we even had brain boost. So just 1 or 2 brain boosts will help, but increase the amount of microdaily that she's taking. So if she's only taking 2 twice a day, increase her to like 3 twice a day, maybe three times a day, and you'll likely be happy with the result. Does that make sense?
See what time it is.
Does that answer your question there, Joe?
Well, actually, I give her 4 in the morning of the brain boost and 4 at night. Is that too many?
That's a very good question. I think that it's probably doing, it may be too much. You don't have to do that much with that. I would give her more micro daily than I'm giving her brain boost.
Okay.
Okay, so just go back to like 1 or 2 brain boost twice a day, maybe 1 twice a day, but increase to 4 micro daily twice a day, or increase that.
Okay. All right, that answers my question.
All right, very good. Okay, Lula Jester's hand was up, but let's go to Janice Bush. You're unmuted.
Okay, I got a question. 4 ladies that want to be on the meeting tonight, but they couldn't. But they want to know, how can they get the video? Because they want to watch the video, today's video.
You can send a text, or are you already in our WhatsApp chat group?
I don't know.
Send me a text, 754-300-8909, and I'll add you to that chat, because we post the recordings in the WhatsApp chat every week, okay?
Okay, let me make sure I got your phone number right.
754-300-8909. Send me a text.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Lula Jester, did you still have a question?
8909.
Yes, I did.
Go ahead, please.
So I a sister who I took the micro daily pills and the capsules. So she was saying that every time she would take it, it would cause her stomach to hurt. And I don't know if it's because the surgery she had involved she had colon surgery, where she do not absorb nutrients very well. And I tried to explain to her that there's nothing that could be possibly causing the stomach to hurt from the micro daily. But I just want to get your input on there. She's supposed to be on listening. What could it be possibly? She said every time she's taken 1 at night, and then she takes some at night, and then she tried it again the next day. And she said she had then she skipped in between, she skipped a couple of days, but she said she had the same result. So I'm trying to curious about that.
Did her doctor put her on a gluten-free diet?
She did not say, but I could find out.
Because your response to her is true and false, because it is possible that the capsules could be causing a problem. I'll tell you why. The capsules that hold the powder together.
Yes.
Your body's got to break that down.
Right.
If her digestive system is not breaking down those capsules,
yes,
it'll go through her digestive system like a brick going through there.
Gotcha.
So the best thing for her to do is open the capsule, don't swallow them.
Good point.
Some people have a hard time swallowing those capsules. I cannot let Joanna, my wife, swallow capsules anymore. She has to open every one of them up. She cannot put those in her body, because it will cause her stomach to just not up. My mother-in-law, same way. So anyone who's got a very sensitive gut just cannot break down those capsules. Now, part of the reason is because it depends on the company. Every company is a little bit different, because those little gel caps, not gel caps, they're called cellulose capsules.
Right.
Some of them, the really expensive ones, are vegan and organic. They're very expensive, but a lot of companies don't use vegan expensive ones. They'll use the less expensive ones. I believe the ones that Engage Global is using, they're high quality. They're not garbage, but I don't believe that they're entirely the 100% best. My
Okay.
my gut will break down anything. I can swallow a couple of pieces of rock and it'll come out sand on the other end. But most a lot of people who have delicate stomach won't open them up.
She took the powder.
Yeah, open them up.
Yeah.
Don't go to the powder because the powder has additional ingredients in it that also may not be the right thing for her because she's in a very delicate, fragile state. Use those capsules, just open them up and squeeze the powder out. Put it in something else, either in water and drink it down. Now, if she has trouble and doesn't like the taste, then yes, go to hydro. But I would recommend just take those capsules, open them up, and drink that.
Okay, so it's not the pill itself, it's the binders. All right,
Yeah, it's just the capsule that's holding the powder together.
I got you. Good point. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for your question. Okay, anybody else? And anyone that wants to share their story that's had good results, with one of the products, feel free. This is your chance to do it. We'd love to hear anyone who's having positive results, or even if you're having a problem like we just discussed. Okay, that's good then. That's good. That means we covered all the questions. Loida?
Learning. I have several questions. If you explained a while ago, the green one is the micro daily green, and the red one is the micro daily with Q10.
Yeah, the green one is micro daily with CoQ10. That's the green one.
But the red one has not. So what's the difference between these two?
The red one is micro daily EMF. Okay. Now, EMF, Dr. Prasad noticed that 5G was on the way. Now, most of us have been conditioned through television to think that as they bring on 5G, that's going to make our lives better. 5G puts us in the Jetson world where you can talk to your refrigerator and your refrigerator will come over to you and bring you a cold drink. You can talk to your television and the television will turn itself on. Everything in the whole house is going to be based on computers and Wi-Fi, 5G. That our life is going to get better because of 5G, but 5G is going to bring a extremely high level of radiation. And listen carefully, the amount of cancer is going to go through the roof. It won't be long before cancer will surpass heart disease as the #1 form of death because of 5G. So
because of the radiation, exposure to radiation. So the micro red EMF 5G, it would be like anti-radiation or help us to be anti-radiation if we take it.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay, so Dr. Prasad stepped it up because radiation is about to increase. He increased the formula. So now it's even stronger, helping us to not suffer from the effects of radiation, okay?
Okay, so can I ask a question, one more?
Please, go ahead.
What's the different prices for those two bottles?
The about $20 difference. The micro daily with CoQ10 is $49.95. The micro daily EMF is $69.95. So I recommend that depending on the person's ability, that they maybe go 50-50 with them. I would go half and half. So if I was taking, especially if I'm someone young and I'm younger than 50 years old, I would do maybe half of the CoQ10 one and half of the EMF.
One more question. I have seen this in Costco. So what's the difference of the over-the-counter in Costco and in this global health, this network, you call it? I don't know.
Are you telling me you've seen CoQ10 in Costco or you've seen micro daily in Costco?
Micro, that I seen this in Costco.
Yeah. You've seen micro daily in Costco.
Yes, the micro daily, even the packages that you that I seen on your screen a while ago, and the bottle. I've seen those things. So what's the difference between those and in this, what you call this, global health?
Engagement.
It's not sold in Costco.
I can tell you almost with 100% certainty, Larnie, that Micro Daily is not sold in Costco. I can almost tell you that with 100% certainty. There may be something that looks like it in Costco, but I can almost guarantee you that this formula, this product is not available in Costco. It's not available in from any other source other than you, any other health advocate on this phone, on this conference right now. It must be purchased through a health advocate.
Okay.
All right, but if you see something in Costco, you've got my phone number now. Please take a picture of it and send me a picture of it. I'd like to
really
examine it. Okay.
Yeah.
cray.
Jonathan,
Yes, go ahead, please.
well, what's happening with some people that have access to Micro Daily, they're not listening and they're offering the product on eBay or in different places. But they're doing something that they should be doing.
That's where
I agree. Yeah.
Because I had someone to call me that happened with them. They found it on eBay.
On eBay. Yeah, that I don't that wouldn't surprise me that it was on eBay, and it wouldn't surprise me if somebody decided to put it on Amazon also. So it's ultimately coming through a distributor, but to get into Costco is a whole different discussion. That's warehousing, and you've got to have massively high numbers of product to get into Costco. That's a big order there. That's like millions of dollars to get into Costco. But, yeah, there would be some individual health advocate that might, step up and try to get it into some store, a health food store someplace, or eBay or something like that. So, but thank you, Dolores. Delaney, what's
yeah, Loida.
Loida? That's Loida. Okay, all right, good. Go ahead, Loida.
Yeah, I saw it in Amazon actually, because one of my friend, I'm trying to tell her about it, and she was telling me, that she read some negative report about it, that it's the same as the regular vitamins or supplements. And so I said no, but then when I went to Amazon, and for sure it's, all the products are there. So yeah, now are we allowed to, or there is a contract that we're supposed to sign that we cannot put it in a place, in a store like that, or it's okay?
That's a very good question. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't look at the fine print to see whether they told us that we can't do it. Most network marketing companies don't like it when you take and put the product out there at a health food store. But I can't say that Dave Nemelka has stopped us from doing that, but we'll make a note of it and we'll find out if that's something that we're prevented from doing. But right now they're not policing it because it's just not enough volume going that's going to create a problem for us. So if you do have a client that they do decide to go buy it on Amazon, what you want to do there is tell them that they can't be sure of the quality, first of all, or how old the product. They don't know how old the product is. So you can always kind of go back that way. Then check the price of what you see on Amazon. Is it the same price that your client could get buying it from you?
I think it's the same price.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at it, it looks like it's the same price.
Same price?
Yeah.
Yeah, Loida, I checked Amazon, and the Micro Daily with CoQ10 the one bottle costs $79.99.
Okay. So $79.99. So you got an easy argument there. So all you do is you tell your client they can go ahead and buy it there for $80, or they could buy it from you for $49.95 plus shipping.
Okay. Or $66.65 for retail, right?
Correct. But no, my recommendation is don't sell it retail. My recommendation is set them up as a preferred customer so they get the same price that you get.
Okay. I saw, with your fine print earlier, if you become a preferred customer, it's 40%, but it seems I don't know, maybe I just misread, because I read it's 25% if you're a preferred customer.
Yeah, they've adjusted it. The price at one time it was a little higher, and the percentage was different. So thank you. I'll make an adjustment on that slide.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, you know, people were like, I thought it was 40%, and like, no, it's 25. So just to make.
Question: what is the difference of preferred customer and a regular customer?
The regular customer is gonna pay about $75, I believe, for the micro daily with CoQ10. Preferred customer gets it on subscription. Okay, so they get it on subscription, and it's just going to come in on a regular basis for $49.95. You get it for the wholesale price. Okay.
And the regular customer, what you call preferred customer, every month they have to order that or buy the product.
Yeah, it'll ship automatically. It'll come automatically. In fact, you know what we'll do? Stick around for the business meeting, and we'll talk a little bit about that right afterwards. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll talk in just a few minutes in our business meeting. Estelito, you have a question or a comment? Don't forget to unmute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jonathan, one of my preferred customer, she's from Canada, and she started taking micro daily for the first few days. She said that she got energized, and you know, she did all her chores because of the taking micro daily. But then after a week of taking it, she got a bad reaction. She told us this, I think it was yesterday. And so she's been taking antidepressant drugs, and it says it give her palpitation and more depressed. And then she said that she started taking it again, only one pill, and then it's happened again. That's what she told us. But you know, it's probably the reaction for her. At first it was good, and then later on it did not give her a good reaction. So my question is, does it cause, I don't know what happened, it's the palpitation from the micro daily, but I don't think so. But I just want to hear your comment about it.
Right. Here's what may have happened in her case. Without knowing exactly what kind of medication she's taking, we don't know what the side effects are. But when you elevate glutathione levels in the body, anything that's not supposed to be there, it's going to try to detoxify it and remove it out of the body as waste. So it's very possible that in her case, because microdaily crosses the blood-brain barrier, it may be that she no longer needed the amount of medication that she was on, and her body was starting to reconcile. And now she was taking something in her body that she didn't need. Now, we can't tell someone to stop taking their medication. So that means that the side effects of the medication also could have been a factor. So look at the side effects, and part of the side effects may be heart palpitations. And now, because of having microdaily in the body no longer needed that medication. Therefore, it created the heart palpitations.
Got it. Thank you, Jonathan. I let her know. Yeah.
Okay.
My wife and I will let her know that.
Jonathan, this is Jean.
Yes, Jean.
How does microdaily affect a person with PCOS? Would you recommend it with a PCOS, polycystic ovarian, I think, symptoms or something?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Take high dosage of it.
Like how much?
Depending on the person's age, but maybe like 4 twice a day or 4 3 times a day. But if there's an abnormal cell, the immune system wants to get rid of it. So you increase this, and the immune system is going to want to try to get rid of whatever's there.
Because with PCOS, this is my niece, and she's having high blood pressure, experiencing high blood pressure. At the same time, she has very bad diabetes because of PCOS. So you're saying 4 times a day, four times twice a day would be good for her?
4 capsules twice a day, possibly 4 capsules 3 times a day with meals.
3 times a day.
Yes, with meals, because she's diabetic also. So yeah, hit it hard. She'll get some good results, but make sure she's drinking plenty of water, because those toxins want to go someplace. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, another question. One of my friends who's taking Micro Daily with CoQ10 had told me that she's experiencing rashes. Is it part of detoxification?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It'll usually go away in about 2 weeks or so, but they drink water because those toxins are trying to come out. They're going to take the shortest pathway out, and usually it's through the skin.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Hello, hello, sir.
Hang on a second. Hang on just 1 second there.
Okay.
Get right back to you. What's your name?
Belinda.
Belinda. Hold on 1 second, Belinda.
Okay.
Lynn's been had her hand up there for a while. Go ahead, Lynn.
Unmute myself there. There we go. Yeah, I had a friend who is has started taking it too, had a similar experience, who was on an antidepressant. And she found as long as she takes it at least like 4 to 6 hours away, that she's fine from her medication. And I, encouraged her to just start with 1 and then go up gradually to see how she does. But I'm sure she's also pretty much like you explained, the effect because of the medication.
Yep.
And for myself, I'm just starting the MTHFR one again. I'm going to try that one and see how I do with it. I think I've noticed, if I go off of the Micro Daily, my leg cramps come back and my fatigue comes back. So I do definitely notice the difference. But yeah, if the person on the antidepressant can space it away, for sure, they can probably start building it again as their body adjusts.
That's right. A minimum of 2 hours. Thank you very much for reminding me of that, Lynn. I forgot all
You're
about
welcome.
it. Separate it. They can separate it, and that would usually help. At least 2 hours.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, Belinda, Wash.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, my uncle Lee, right now he only has like 8% of his kidney function, and he's been back and forth, between the hospital and the rehabilitation places. So would the Micro Daily help him out a lot? And how much should he take? Should he take the regular Micro Daily or the EMF, or the packets?
How old is he?
Auntie, my aunt is also up here. I think she's up here.
I mean, approximately.
Okay, he's approximately about maybe 75 or 80.
Okay. Yeah, you might want to let him just take the Micro Daily with CoQ10. That would probably be his best option. The Hydro will be fine also. But
okay, because I don't have the CoQ10 right now. But I should get some.
No, if you have the Hydro, that's fine. It's got all of them have CoQ10 in it, so just keep that in mind. Every one of them has CoQ10.
Okay.
But have him go on like 4 of them, 3 or 4 twice a day, and he would probably start seeing some benefit. We've had a number of folks their kidney function has improved as they've gone on the Micro Daily. But don't waste any time. Hurry up with that. And
okay.
Because it will help. It's amazing once the right nutrients go into the body, how the organs just love it. Lloyd, you had an experience with someone like that?
Jonathan. Actually, my cousin, she received the sample. She's doing a dialysis, and 2 weeks ago, she was telling me I couldn't do this anymore because every time she goes to the dialysis center, she will pass out because her blood pressure just goes down. And what she did after she received the sample, the following day, she took 2 capsules of the EMF. And then she went to the dialysis, and then she started, and then they were wondering how come her blood is okay. And then during the dialysis process, period, usually she passed out because of her blood pressure. But then she did not pass out. She maintained her blood pressure. I think she says 89. I don't know what it meant, but before it was 50. And so they had to stop the dialysis. And so she's been doing that since she started. And she said now the doctor told her that they want her to stop. The nurse told her that maybe she should just go twice a week instead of 3 times a week. And this is just like a week ago.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and I think that, and she was like, before I cannot walk after the dialysis. I just, walk, and then I can't go to the bathroom. But now I have so much energy, I feel I need to go to the bathroom. Going, I'm sorry, that's not from here. So, and it helps me going to the, it helps me able to work, like to do things in the house. Now I can cook, she said. So I thought maybe that could help. I don't know.
That's beautiful. No, that's beautiful. That's very, very helpful. Thank you very much. Dolores, you had someone also?
Oh, excuse me. Also, so you're saying how many of the the regular microdailies, how many should he take?
Yeah,
I know the packets are equivalent to 2 capsules, right?
Yeah, just give him like two packages of the hydro a couple times a day.
About what, 3 times a day?
2 times a day with
2
meals.
times. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
You're very welcome. Dolores, you had someone that was in a similar situation with the kidney?
Yes, she was facing dialysis, but she was a little younger than this gentleman. She was taking only 4 capsules at first, macro daily, the regular macro daily. Then she increased it maybe to 6, but she's doing excellent. She went back to the dialysis clinic. They told her she no longer needs to be on dialysis.
That's incredible. My sister was
awesome.
My sister was in stage 4 kidney, and she was able to avoid it also. So we're it's serious. What this product that we have here is very serious. We don't tout it as being a miracle drug, but it's amazing what the body does when it's got the right nutrients in it. Emily's been waving there, doing everything short of dancing. Go ahead, Emily.
I have a question about the EMF. I just want to know, is there any like past recordings on it? Because I wanted to get a little more information on it. Or are we going to have future discussions on the EMF?
Yeah, who send a text message, but there's Dr. Prasad did an entire discussion on the EMF. So send me a text message and ask for that, and we'll get that recording for you, okay?
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. It's a great product. In fact, we had Jeff Ashby on here once too, and he did a nice little piece on the EMF. Okay, Witters 1 has been flagging for a while, and then we'll come to Angelique.
Hi, this is Alta.
Okay, Alta Whiters, go ahead.
Miss Levat had told me about the microdaily. I was taking, I don't know if she was talking about me or not, but I was taking 4. But now I take 4 in the morning and 4 in the evening. And I was stage 5 with my kidneys. And when I went back to my doctor a month ago, he walked in the room, he said, "Oh my goodness, what the world you been doing?" He says, "You look so good." And he did my tests, and all my blood work is perfect. My cholesterol, my A1C, everything. And my kidneys is back to stage 3, and they thinking about taking the devices out that was put into me because I was gonna do at home dialysis. So I'll see him. He's not gonna see me till February. He said I'm doing so good. So when I go back, they might be taking the stents out.
My goodness, you're bringing tears to my eyes.
I am so excited.
That's what killed my mother. That's incredible. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Angelique.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anyway, my question is, you mentioned the original micro daily and then the micro daily with the EMF. I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
What is the one with the purple bottle?
The purple bottle is the MTHFR. That's connected to the gene, the MTHFR gene. So what Dr. Prasad found out was that there's a portion of the population, a percentage of the population that have trouble with the MTHFR gene. That means that their body can't metabolize a couple of the important ingredients in microdaily. So he enhanced it so that the body could metabolize those ingredients. The highest percentage of people that have that issue are folks from Europe, European folks. There's a very low percentage of African American or dark and brown people who have that issue. So the majority of folks are European and Canadian that have trouble with the MTHFR gene. All of the benefits of the purple one is in the EMF. So all the benefits were added to the EMF. So the microdaily EMF is like a combination of microdaily with CoQ10, microdaily MTHFR, plus additional radiation benefits. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, yeah, the reason I asked is because James is on the purple one.
Mm-hmm.
You had suggested that, and he was like, I want to do the green one. So I was just wondering, how can you tell if you have that gene or not?
He can probably.
If you don't live in Canada, how do you know you have that gene?
Yeah, well, look, I know James, and he may not have that gene issue, so he can safely go back to the green one.
Okay. And last time I did ask you, what does microdaily do for a person with lupus, especially if where some of the people just talked about what it did for their kidneys, because I think lupus does contribute to kidney failure, or maybe the medication they are on, that might be one of the side effects. But you said, and I didn't remember exactly what you said, microdaily does for lupus.
It selectively modulates the immune system. So a person with lupus has trouble with their B cell lymphocytes being too high. So usually a person with lupus is on immune suppressant drugs to lower the B cells. What microdaily does, it doesn't modulate the B cells. It only modulates T cells. It raises the T cells. And once T cells go up, the B cells come down automatically. So it really helps a person with lupus to be more in balance. They'll probably need less of their medication. So this would be a wise thing for someone with lupus to take.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Alfreda, you had a comment there?
Yeah, Valencia does, about dialysis.
Okay.
My husband was on peritoneal dialysis. I'm not sure if she was referring to hemodialysis at home or peritoneal dialysis.
Yeah, she was about to be transferred. She had all the ports put in that would help her would allow her to go to peritoneal dialysis, but they're taking out that equipment because she no longer needs it.
Right. I was gonna say I wouldn't recommend anybody doing peritoneal dialysis at all.
It's horrible.
It is horrible because they teach you how to, once you are trained and you go home and actually do it yourself. My husband would, because they would fill him up on the sugar and it would go inside his stomach. But then when it came time for him to drain the fluid off, the fluid sometimes would not come off.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of complications behind peritoneal dialysis because he filled up from his head all the way down to his feet because he wasn't able to pull it off.
Yep.
So he was in and out of the hospital. So my thing is, I wouldn't recommend it at all.
No, I have to say I agree with you on that one because and not just for those reasons of getting the fluid off, the chances of a bacterial infection, it calls peritonitis, I believe it's called.
Yeah, you can end up with peritonitis, absolutely, which is what he got in the long run.
Oh my!
He ended up with peritonitis.
That's one of the most horrible things that your body.
Yeah, you can die from it.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Because the fluid backs up into your system.
But understand something, dialysis is deadly. So anything you can do to make your body healthier to avoid that,
right,
is in your favor. My mother was on dialysis, and because she was on dialysis and she went to the peritoneal dialysis as well, it led to all kinds of complications, including
absolutely
cardiac issues, vision issues, clotting issues, and eventually my mother simply died.
Yeah, my husband did too.
Everything else.
Right.
So horrible, horrible thing. So that's
And
one. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand the concept because he was diabetic and yet they filled him up with sugar.
Yeah, go figure that one, right?
Exactly. So
wrap your mind around that one. But thank you.
know.
What's your name again?
Valencia.
Thank you, Valencia. Appreciate your comments.
No problem.
Loida, please.
Yes, regarding the lupus, because I have a couple of friends that have lupus, what would you recommend for them to start taking?
They could probably get away with, depending on the age, they could probably get away with just 2 capsules twice a day. You know, and just
which one?
Oh, at the very least, the the CoQ10. But if their budget can bear it, I would always go with the plus. Anyone who can afford it, in my opinion, should be on the plus, the Micro Daily Plus, if they can afford it.
The plus, is that with the CBD?
Correct.
And why is that? No, I'm just curious because it has the CBD part of it. Because I have 2 people that bought CBD and one of them really had a bad reaction. I think it's too high, the 1,600, you know, the boost.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful on that one because she threw up the whole night. So now she's blaming me. So I'm kind of.
She's blaming you for it. All right, that was the boost. See, some people can't handle the boost. I'm just talking about the Micro Daily Plus. For those who can afford it, it doesn't have high dosages of CBD, but every cell in the body wants CBD. It's phenomenal for lowering anxiety, phenomenal for dealing with stress, and every cell is improved. Every part of the body is improved with CBD. So my recommendation for anyone who can afford it, go to the Micro Daily Plus. But other than that, the Micro Daily regular would usually mitigate most problems. So the lupus, she'll get by fine with just the Micro Daily with CoQ10.
Okay, so 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, or at night.
I mean, yeah, at night, like every 12 hours, basically.
Right. Yeah, because N-acetylcysteine has a 12-hour half-life. Micro Daily has a 12-hour half-life. So it falls off a cliff after 12 hours. Now, for someone who wants to bump it up, taking that dose in the middle of the day bumps it back up again. So that's why they get additional benefits from it by taking it 3 times. But usually it's not necessary, except if you got a few miles on you. I got a few miles on me, so I take 3 twice a day.
Okay, so do you have to add the brain boost for that if in case they want the brain boost, or just stick to the plus?
No, you can add the brain boost if they want. That's a personal choice. If they feel like they're having a little bit of a fog there, or they're having problems with their memory or anything like that, the brain boost is a benefit all the way around.
Okay. ADHD. I'm sorry, I have so many questions, but I want to find out about the ADHD. What would you give to an ADHD 20-year-old?
Micro Daily with CoQ10.
Okay.
Yep.
To give brain boost as well, or CBD? No.
Brain boost will help, but just Micro Daily with CoQ10 will do it.
What's about why is it that the CoQ10 is a good one for that, for the brain?
Only because it's my theory, my personal opinion with any supplement is less is best. You know, okay. So I'm not going to tell a person to spend a dime more than they need to. You know, so if their focus is to deal with ADHD, and if Micro Daily with CoQ10, it has a chance of ameliorating it, I just assume they start with the least expensive one.
Okay, and this person also have, he had brain damage, and so would that be enough for that person then?
That's a whole different conversation now. Brain damage from what?
Okay, so actually it's my daughter. She was vaccinated when she was 4 months old. And after the chemo, because she had leukemia as an effect of it. So after the chemo 3.5 years, the doctor told us, okay, expect your daughter to have ADHD. So it's like, oh, it's not gonna happen. Of course it happened, and it's happening. And I've been trying so many things, and I'm still looking for the right combination of things that I can give it to her so that she can calm down a little bit, because that's the problem that I'm having with her.
Any seizures?
I think at night she's still under study, actually. So yeah, that's what they said. She might have it because they saw in her MRI and her EEG that there's some activities there.
Then I would absolutely 100% go with the Microdaily Plus.
Okay. How many dosage wise?
2 twice a day should do it.
Okay. All right, cool.
And then if necessary, maybe the 750 boost.
Okay. Yeah, I've been giving her that, and she's like, Mom, I have a headache, you know? So I'm like, Mom, I'm dizzy. I'm like, okay. So I'm working on it.
All right,
But
then she can back away from that. Yeah, then she can back away.
plus, right?
Huh?
Did you say plus or no, I'm confused. Did you
Yeah,
say
the Microdaily Plus, because of the trauma.
Okay.
And because of the seizures, because CBD is phenomenal for seizures.
Okay.
And the 750 would be an additional boost to that.
Once a day for the 750?
Yeah, once a day.
Okay.
Yeah, once a day. And I just give that some time. If that does not do it, you need to make sure that you message me. There's some additional things that she needs to do outside of all of this.
All right.
And again, just to kind of make this clear, this is the reason why these discussions are not engaged global discussions. You follow me? This is Healthcare Support Association of America, because I'm going to tell you anything that's going to benefit that I know of, whether it's engaged global or not. I'm going to tell you anything that's going to benefit the situation or not. And we don't want engaged global to be in a situation where someone is recording this and they're saying, okay, these engaged global distributors are making medical claims. I'm not making medical claims, but it's not engaged global. This meeting is Healthcare Support Association of America, okay?
Thank you.
All right, it's like we're putting a wall between us and what our objectives are and any liability for engaged global. Okay. All right, good. A couple more. Lula Jester, I saw your hand flash back up there, and then Alta.
Yes, Jonathan. Well, I'm Lula Jester, other half. I have a friend of mine. He used to be a coworker. He going through chemo, radiology. I was wondering, listen to you talk. I was wondering, would the EMF or vitamin help him, supplement help him?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to get this information to him because I think this is 3rd or 4th week of chemo.
Yep.
And he said he got to go until almost the end of the month.
He'll get much less side effects, from the chemo. Now, Dr. Prasad, let's make this official. Dr. Prasad does not recommend taking Microdaily when someone's on chemo, because Microdaily is trying to help all the healthy cells stay healthy when chemo is trying to make everything not so healthy.
Right.
So he doesn't recommend. That's the official position of the company. My personal opinion is that this will help the healthy cells stay healthy. And if the chemo is going to do damage, let the chemo find the cancer cells and do its thing. But this is going to help the healthy cells stay healthy.
Okay. The reason why I asked you, I was thinking that possibly after he finished chemo, that he can start taking a supplement that he will benefit down the road.
You got it.
Does that make sense?
That's exactly right. That's exactly the thinking.
Okay.
Jonathan.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dolores.
I had a lady that had, I believe, stage 3 breast cancer. She took Microdaily the whole time. Matter of fact, she started taking it before she did the conventional treatments. She never stopped. While they was doing the radiation, the chemotherapy, she was taking Microdaily, and she's still taking it today. She's doing fine.
Wonderful. Wonderful. See, we're learning new things every single day about people who are using these products and benefiting from it. So, excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Well, we've gone way over time, folks. Way over time. So, hold on. Got background noise. Okay, I just killed all of the you can unmute yourselves if you have some more comments. But we're going to go ahead and stop now with this portion of the meeting. I'll still stay on for any who are interested in discussing the business. So we're going to stay right here in this room. We're not going to go into a breakout room. We're going to stay right here and let's talk a little bit about the business. And then John Lawrence, if you're available, we'll stay on for another half an hour after that, and we'll take some time to discuss your specific situation, okay? So I'm going to stop the recording now. I'm going to make this recording available to anyone who would like to have